Hi everyone, last video, I promise. I just wanted to go over our nonfiction a little bit. I've talked to several people who went to online parties and they didn't really understand what age things were appropriate for when they bought stuff, and they ended up with something that wasn't really right for their kid. So I just want to show you kind of the difference and the progression in our Lift the Flap books. So we'll start with the Peek Inside series. This is meant for really young kids. This is great for Adeline. She's, I think, 14 months right now. It also is great for 2-year-olds. It's just enough information for them. Obviously for Adeline, I don't read all of this information, but it's very simple concepts. If you look in the sky, you see the stars. When the rocket blasts off, it goes up into the sky past the clouds. So it's simple information. It's still nonfiction, but it's just enough for those young readers. I do want to point out that these say 3+ on the website, but the reason they say that is because there's flaps. So they have to be 3+, because if these flaps get ripped off, which they probably won't because they're very sturdy, but if they do, they could be a choking hazard. Next up would be the Look Inside Your series. So this really is probably 3+ for most of them. Parker's 3, he loves this book. I actually really love this book also, and let me show you why. So this is a very good example of the pages in this book. You start with a flap of a boy talking about, body parts, and then you go to the next layer of his body. So then we talk about muscles, and then there's another flap. We go to bones, and there's even more flaps past that. Heart and lungs. Your ribs protect your lungs and your heart. So not too much information, but gosh, Parker knows all of his organs. He knows that his muscles help him move. He knows that when his bladder's full, he needs to go to the bathroom, and that his bladder's full because he drank a lot of water. So he's learned so much from this, and really kids just love nonfiction books because they want to know about their world. So the last in that series is the See Inside. So this is See Inside Trains, and you can tell already that the amount of information here is so much more. So this book kind of goes through all the different types of trains. So it is kind of historical in that sense also. So there's lots more information here. I've some flaps that pull out also. So there's good amounts of information. There are some 3-year-olds that are still going to love this book because they're obsessed with trains. But you probably aren't going to be reading this much information to them. You'd probably have to kind of shorten it up for them. So really, I just want you to kind of see how much information is in these books so that you can gauge what is appropriate for your child, because everybody's different. Then there's also Lift the Flap questions and answers. So there's Lift the Flap questions and answers for older kids, and also Lift the Flap first questions and answers. So these are for younger kids. And these, Parker loves this book so much because there's all these ones that you have to pull apart. So it's really simple. What happens next? Talking about what happens when a flower starts to bloom. Oh, it pops open. So super simple questions. Do plants need food? Yes, they make food on their own using light from the sun. So simple stuff, beautiful pictures. Super high quality. And then the next stage up is Lift the Flap questions and answers, and the one that we have is space. Let me stick this under so I can get it out. So this is going to have more information. What is a galaxy? That's a more complex question than what happens when a flower is about to bloom. So, and then this is the amount of information that's there to answer it. So they talk about the different kinds. So it kind of goes through how, why, who, lots of different questions. There you go.